Well, you know that they told me that my mom, she got shot in her eye and it came out her neck or whatever. And I don't know, like, I haven't been able to sleep for real. The only time I really feel comfortable sleeping is when I'm, like, just on the floor. I can't even sleep in my bed. Like, I don't know, like, this is just, I really don't have words. Like I've been said, I don't have words for real for this. But the first night I don't go to my mother's house, this happens. How? Why? And I wonder if I was there, if he would have did anything to me. I don't know. For real. That's all I can say.
Did you and your sister stay with Uncle Tim?
She lives with her father. I live with my father now.
And I will say this, up until just a few weeks, Malachi and Summer were staying with their mother. She was having mental illnesses, and they made the decision it was best that they said their father while she seeks help. And but both of them were going every day to check on their mother, be with their mother. And the first time I talked to Malachi, he was so distraught because he said, because I was working, this is the first day I didn't get to her, and this happens. And then the only other thing, Malachi, you may want to tell them is, you think law enforcement came there earlier that day?
Okay, it was an incident that happened earlier that day, and I talked to two officers or whatever, and I believe that it's the same officer that shot my mother. I talked to his partner first, then the second officer, that's the one that, I think, the one that did that. I talked to them, and they told me that, because she was driving herself to the hospital or something, she wasn't even at the house when this was going on, but she was driving herself to the hospital. They told me that they were going to go there to help her, and then this happens.
So she was seeking help because she was trying to get help. And it's like Mr. Wilburn said, she was trying to get help. She needed a helping hand, not a bullet to the face.
That's right.
She just needed those officers to extend an ounce of humanity, not to kill her. And like we said, mental illness is real. You all may have family members who are struggling with their mental health. They deserve compassion and consideration, not excessive, unjustified force, like we saw in that video. We'll try to take some of your questions if you have any.
So, I'm sorry, the Malachi was describing earlier on July 5th that there was a response that the same officers...
That he said he believes it was the same officers. That's why he believes they knew she was struggling with her mental health.
And she had driven herself to the hospital for treatment?
She had sought consultation, yes.
She had not been in an inpatient program. She was under a doctor's care.
Yeah, well, Mr. Wilborn said it, remember at the other place, how she was trying to get consultation because she was struggling with her mental health.
So,
yes, sir.
Malachi believes that the officers went to his mom's house earlier
That day.
The day before, July 5th.
When is it?
Right, that's July 5th.
Yes, July 5th.
July 5th. And do we know why they went to the house?
No, some incident happened. She was on her way to the hospital when she was talking to Malachi. But you talked to the officers too.
Yeah, I talked to them and I was letting them know what was going on. I really don't know what happened before I got there, but I just know that I talked to them and let them know what's wrong with my mother.
So you talked to one of the officers by phone?
No, in person, face to face. Yes, they was at my house.
You were at the house at
Yeah.
the same time visiting your mom?
And she drove herself to the hospital because I don't know why she did, but she drove herself to the hospital. When I got there, it was just the police there. My mother called me before all of this happened, and she told me the police was there. And when I got to her house, she wasn't there. She was calling me, telling me that she's driving herself to the hospital, and they were outside of the house.
So you don't know who called 911?
So she drove herself to the hospital after the encounter with the police, right, that day?
And you told them about her struggle with mental health.
Yeah, and I just tried to, like, the whole week, like, before all of this happened, I've been trying to get her in a mental health. We actually did get her in a mental health place in St. Louis, but they let her come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lane's Dean with another news and commentary. I'm doing an update of the Sonya Massey investigation. Now, in the press conference, you heard what her son, Malachi Hill, which of course is Sonya's son, says that hours before of, Sonya Massey's unalivement, he met with two officers. One of them is the same cop that unalived Sonya Massey. So what he's saying is that he basically, found out that earlier today there's been an incident that, she suffered from mental health issues, right? So basically she rushed herself to the hospital. Now, this is hours before this incident happened. So she rushed herself in the hospital when, and he talked, and so the son talked to the officers. One of them is Sean Grayson. So this was hours before this incident happened. Now, this is basically major breakthrough because my question is, if they met hours early, and you know that sometimes when a person suffers from mental health issues, why you waited hours later and you know that she has, mental health issues, why hours later you want to come back to her house and then all of a sudden, because of the hot boiling water, you want to take her out? That doesn't make any sense. So the son, Malachi Hill, just told reporters, and this is a press conference after what happened to his mother, right? And again, shouts out to Richard Sudan, because I had no clue that, he would say this. And it triggers your mind like that he already, Sean Grayson, the officer that unalived, Sonya Massey, visit, them hours before the incident. Him and his partner. You hear what he said, that he talked to both officers, right? And then if this was true, there's another breakthrough in this case, because they know that she is suffering from mental health issues, and she rushed herself. She went to the hospital by herself. She rushed herself to the hospital while he interviewed by these two officers. That is a really important case. So they knew that she had mental health issues, but when she called the cops, she fears that someone broke into her home. But even still, you gotta have sensitive here that she is suffering from mental health issues. But the officer, Sean Grayson, doesn't care. And then yet he claims that that the boiling hot, water pot is a threat, which is not true. So I want people to be aware about this officer, Sean Grayson, that he visited the home before, and he interviewed, Sonya's son, Malachi. And this is hours before what happened to Sonya Massey. So let me know what you think about this in the comments, because I want people to see what transpires before this incident happened, right? I want people to see it, that this officer was at their home before. And if this was true, this is another breakthrough. This is another evidence that this officer, whether this is personal or whether this is basically, a routine. But at the end of the day, that is a major breakthrough to this investigation on why this officer showed up at Sonya Massey's house. This is the second time that he did that. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments.